As women, we crave her. The wild, untamed version of ourselves who remembers her power and purpose. You're listening to Soul Speak Live with Jessica Dawn Rodriguez, speaker, Reiki master teacher, and business strategist guiding women ready to elevate their soul's work and create global impact. This is your invitation to unmask, step fully into your power, and co-create a life and business you love, even after adversity. You were born for this, and Jessica is here to walk with you as you claim yourself at the highest capacity. Let's dive in.
Welcome to episode 9 of Soul Speak Live. I'm Jessica Dawn, and I'm so excited to be here today. I have a friend here, and I'm honored to introduce her. Her name is Anna Empey. She is the founder of Business Inspired Solutions, a consulting and marketing agency dedicated to helping service-based businesses grow with intention. And we are just here ready to have a conversation. We were just laughing before I hit record because I just love how people are so open to getting on here and we don't have a plan. It's just let's be here together. Let's have a conversation and whatever is meant to flow through us will. And so I had the pleasure of meeting Anna in a mastermind container, and then we actually attended a retreat together in Hawaii, which was just I just get the chills thinking about it. It was magical, and there were just so many breakthroughs and synchronicities and all the things. But the first time that I met Anna, I saw this. I knew that we would be on having a conversation. I could see Anna sharing her story and just being that light that she is for so many people. And so it really is an honor to have you here.
Well, I'm really grateful to be here. You know, when you messaged me, you're like, "Hey, your name has come up that I need to invite you on." It was kind of like, "Oh, hey, I need to just have the courage and come and show up and do this." So I'm just really grateful that you're creating a platform, you're doing the thing, and that you're creating the space so that we can show up and share, right? Because there's so much power in sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is the reason there's so much wisdom, insight, growth, connection, all of the things that can happen when we are able to show up and just speak what's on our heart, knowing that, yeah, not everyone out there will resonate. But even if there's that one person who listens and tunes in and is like, oh my gosh, like this just changed the trajectory of my experience. Like that's what it's here for. So I would love for you to just give us a little bit of an overview of your story. It's so powerful. I love the way that you share it so eloquently and just the fact that you've come so far, that you've overcome so much in this life, and then you have such a beautiful outlook and you've created so many things even after adversity. So I would just love for you to open up with that.
Yeah, so I'll just start with I was born in, no, I'm kidding, but really I'm a farm kid. I was raised on an apple orchard in Eastern Washington, and I'm the third generation that was raised on that farm. And what's funny is I always tell people about that because it is baked into me in how we do things, why I believe in community, how I approach a lot of things in life. It came from those really young experiences inside that environment. I was also raised Mormon or as part of the LDS church. And from a young age, I knew that I was gay and I knew I didn't really fit there. Like I didn't belong there. And I just pretended to, and I just shoved it down, right? So I spent a lot of time thinking about what does that look like. And when I was like 10 is the first time what I looked up what it meant to be a homosexual in the back of like this Bible dictionary thing. And then I went down like this huge rabbit hole. And up until that point, there was already some challenging dynamics, right? My mom has some significant mental health conditions, um, and just the challenges and the dynamics of being raised on a farm, right? So phases where we have more than enough and not quite enough, and but we're trusting that the harvest and having faith that the harvest is going to come through and that it'll be valuable and learning to like be okay with the weather. That's what I'll say. The greatest skill. Uncertainty, okay, right. The weather changes every day. Maybe that's why I was able to be so resilient as I grew forward. Um, and then and then as I got older, I had some pretty interesting experiences. When I was 16, I made some really good friends and I really started to recognize like, okay, something really is different about me. Um, I can tell that I have to like practice and I have to be better at like paying attention to people's faces. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting distracted by other parts of people's bodies because it's beautiful. And so I was, I still didn't really totally have the words. And then everything I learned taught me that it was something to be so ashamed of, that it was so horrible, that it made me a horrible person. And I was just like, okay, so that's when I really just doubled down on like, okay, I'm just gonna try and be as as close and as most Christ-like as I possibly can. So like what that led to as I moved forward was in college, as I did have some experiences with a woman, and it was very awakening. And I also had experiences with men, kissed many men, dated many men. Uh, was close to an engagement at one point, and it just through all these experiences, it just was this pull of like, ugh, like I can't do that. And it came back to like it wasn't really Christ-like for me to marry them. It wasn't really Christ-like because I couldn't give them what they wanted. It wasn't loving. It wasn't compassionate. It wasn't like like the men that I got close to, I still feel close to them. Like I love them as much as I possibly can, like my brother. That's the best way to describe it, right? And inside of all of that turmoil there, really from the experiences of like 18 to 21 is really where I really figured out like, okay, I thought at that point I was just I'll just be single, celibate, I'll become a doctor someday, and I'm gonna just do what the therapy practices and what the church recommends I do so I can stay straight, right? And that was really painful, very painful experiences. Talking about training yourself to just deny and pretend, and then even experiencing, you know, harmful things, conversations. How do you make someone be different than who they actually are? I don't know, really painful. There's a lot of things I had to deny, and where I am now, I can really see was so I could survive. Um, and the benefits, I mean, the good thing is really like I do understand the teachings of Jesus better than a lot of people, and it really shocks people sometimes. And what I'll say is that as I've gone further on my spiritual journey, I am grateful that I know those things because they're principles that don't just come from Jesus, right? They're all over the place. They're universal principles. They're principles of abundance. They're principles of compassion. And I was never that great at the forgiveness part until my wife taught me to be better at forgiveness. But, you know, all those experiences really brought me to a point now where, okay, I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna love who I am. I'm gonna help other people love who they are. And there's some pivotal things I had to learn along the way in that journey. Like, for example, I'm worthy because I exist, right? And actually, I have to know that. And I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Um, and for a long time, I didn't want to be here, and I stayed for other people. In When I was 21 is when I re-ran back into my wife, Caitlin, and most of our relationship was in the closet. So like I said, 18 to 21, pretty formative. And then 21, it was like this big experience and awakening where we're just friends, but we're falling in love. And then she asks me what happens if we kiss. And then I said we would never be friends or talk again because I was really committed to that. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna stay a good Mormon. I'm gonna be celibate. I'm gonna become a doctor. That's my life plan. And and quite frankly, at that point, and I would say it the same way, is that God had other plans. The universe had other plans for me.
Mhm.
And me letting myself kiss her a few weeks later is the best choice that I ever actually made.
I was
Uh,
going to say, right when you first mentioned your wife, Caitlin, you could just see like, your face light up and just I mean, like what a blessing that you allowed yourself to follow your heart.
yeah, and it was like really conflicting. And it was risky, right? Because
Absolutely.
she's never been with a woman. I mean, maybe I didn't know she had some other experiences at that point, but like in my mind, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm going to ruin everything.
Mm.
Like, I'm going to take my whole life off track. And the thing that I had to really confront was, do I really want to be single and celibate, or am I going to miss an opportunity of what I don't know?
Yeah.
And do I actually want to lose this person when I actually do have those kinds of feelings for her? And clearly she has those feelings for me because she asked me what we would do if we kissed. And that was so confronting. Like, how do I be okay with it? And I just decided, you know what? I don't have all the answers, but I think it's worth taking the risk.
Yeah. You had mentioned something earlier. One of the things that you had to anchor in is you said it, how did you say it? I'm
Because I
worthy
exist.
because
Yeah.
I exist. Just hearing a part of your story. I mean, I know there's so much more. How did you go from I'm navigating all of this shame and conflicting beliefs and all of these people, and I'm having therapists and people at the church in the church and all of these people telling me who I'm supposed to be and how I'm supposed to live. How did you go from this young human navigating all of that to being able to anchor into I'm worthy because I exist?
Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about the timeline because it is kind of telling, right? So up to that point of that experience with Caitlin, I still didn't really believe I was worthy of existing because it was so ingrained in me. And because of the mentality that I had with the church, I was willing to do whatever it took to not lose that. That was my identity. And sometimes people have a hard time understanding. It wasn't just like something that was warm and fuzzy and ethereal that I kind of believed over here. No, it was 100% embodied and integrated in who I am, why I was the way I was. And that's how my family is too, right? This is their identity. There's nuances, of course, so that's like the foundation. So as far as like this idea of how I should be, yeah, it was my identity. And then the therapy that I did just kind of tripled down that those things were the truth. So then I had that experience with Caitlin, and quite frankly, Caitlin and I didn't know what the heck was happening. And so we just we were staying friends and then we were staying connected and trying to figure it out. And it took us, I don't know, probably like a good 2.5 years to figure it out. And then Caitlin left for about 12 days. And then we had to rebuild our relationship. That took about 6 to 7 months. And then, the church is still impacting me. I'm not out of the church. Um, and still trying to sort it out with Caitlin. Do we both want this? And giving each other the space and the time to figure that out. Because it wasn't just my religion that I had to sort out. She had to sort out her beliefs and what that looks like too. So we walked side by side. So up until that point, yeah, still questioning, was it better for me to be dead than to be gay? Because that is kind of the undertone of what I was given.
Oh,
And so through that timeline, through those experiences, I started meeting other people and looking for other people going through the same experience as me, and then trying to make it work with the church. Kept trying to make it work with the church until um 2015 is when they created the exclusion policy, where they pretty much said, if you have same-sex attraction and you're acting on it, you are not welcome here. You are not allowed here. You're an apostate, um, and there'll be disciplinary action, which was like detrimental, right? That was my whole world, my whole life. That's why it was so significant.
yeah.
And so, at that time, I also watched a bunch of people and acquaintances. That policy kicked off a bunch of people doing the thing that I thought I was going to do, which was take my life, right?
Yeah.
And um, and so watching and losing all those people and watching people choose to go, but also deal with the impact of that. One of the reasons why I was able to stay is because Caitlin and I had built such a strong connection. So at that point, I had chosen, okay, I love her. I'm in this. We're gonna figure this out. If it takes 20 years for us to get married, I don't care. I can't lose her. Came back to that same thing of why I kissed her, right? So she became the reason why I lived for a long time. And then that stuff happened. And then it was really about healing and grieving and looking at all the nuances. Do I actually want to do that? No, I didn't ever really want to actually do that. I had to also come to that conclusion and able to allow myself to recognize that I'm worthy to exist. Do I really want to take my life? No, but it was given to me like it was the only option. It's not. It was not the only option. There's so many other options. So fast forward, 2018, which I guess is, let's see, it's 2025 now. So we were married in 2018, 7 years ago. We got married, and it's so beautiful. And I'd left the church 100%. And really, that's when I started to make my peace with leaving. And that's when I started to go, okay, it's better for me to leave this. And I don't know what that means about what I believe next. So, okay, just show me where you want me to go, which honestly, that's been my relationship with God, Source, Universe, Creator the whole time. Show me what you want me to know and take me where you want me to go. And there's this song that says, "One step enough for me." I can find the hymn if you guys want to know what it is, let me know. And it stuck with me. Like, I will go where you want me to go. Just show me. So, and trusting that and learning to trust that. So, after I was married to Caitlin for a little bit, she said, Anna, this is getting really hard for me. Like, it feels like a lot of pressure. Like, I've got to keep you alive. And every time you have a hard time, I worry you're just going to go and you're going to leave. And I can't handle the thought of losing you. And so that really pushed me to start to go and look. And it made me really think, I would say, for like 3 or 4 months. Man, like, that, what would Caitlin's life be like if I went? What a morbid thing to think about. But it had me shift to, I can't do that. And maybe I want it as an option because it feels easier than dealing with the pressure of living and the pressure of the shame and all these really tricky situations of how I've raised, like that I'm not worthy of being here because I'm gay. But then I also, it's really nuanced. And then I also really had to learn, like, oh, wait, if I believe that I am created in God's image, like most Christian churches teach, then maybe there isn't a problem with me.
Mm.
Maybe it really is supposed to be this way. And I have been asking you the whole time what you want me to do, where you want me to go. And then I just been trusting and trying to take the steps. And so doing the work to really look and have all those conversations with support, of course, right? That's part of why I was in the containers you were in when you met me, right? And then it really became about anchoring in the real truth. So that took some time, but it is just the truth now. And frankly, the fact that I could let go of the idea that yeah, sure, maybe for 25 years for 30 years. I thought it was better to be dead. But the good news is now I got I got 4 years where I know that that's not true anymore. I can't wait till I have more time where that's not true. And I kind of joke around with people now, like, well, you're stuck with me. I'm here for a long time, so you better be okay with that. And I make those jokes because it just reinforces my truth now. And also, like, really, like, I am here to love people. I am here to show up. And shame still pops up, sure, but I have to witness it, acknowledge it, allow it to show me whatever it's trying to teach me. Or, maybe it's not trying to teach me anything and it really is just bullshit coming back in my face from the past. But I have the tools and the resources now from the work that I've done to be able to recognize it. And I don't sit in the cycles of it very long. Grief is where I spend more time because it's a lot of grief. And I don't totally understand why those things had to happen. It makes me sad that all those people had to go
Yeah,
because I don't think that they really had to. And some of them, I have realized for them and for their perspective, it was better for them that they went. And I can respect that. That's their choice, right? But that still leaves me a little sad sometimes.
it's a lot. One of the things that came up for me when you were just speaking about that is something that was presented to me in one of my mentorship classes that I'm taking. And it's the idea that when we heal and we anchor something in and we have a new truth and we anchor that in the now, it's something that actually ripples across timelines.
100%.
And just thinking of it from that perspective, I'm worthy because I exist. That's anchored in now. It's anchored across past, present, future.
Yeah, I also think that it's helped, because I don't just I don't I don't believe my friends are just gone forever, right? Like I can still feel their presence and I can still feel their influence. And I have one friend who they follow me. I have two friends who follow me around in these two birds, right? In Hawaii, these two birds would not leave me alone at the airport. I'm like, go away. I love you guys, but go. And then I realized, oh, it's you guys. Okay, you can hang out. But when I was in Las Vegas earlier this year, there were two birds, and they're not in places birds should be. Like we're in this food court inside of this massive building, and there's these two pigeons. And I'm like, okay. And so with that, I really do have to agree, right? Like that also knowing that truth, because at first I really had to think about it. Like I really had to get really conscious of it. And I anchored it in actually to my heartbeat because my heart is going to keep beating for me to live. My heart has to keep beating. So because I chose to anchor it in that way, and if you want, I'll show you kind of how I anchored it because I'd love for other people to kind of have that applicable tool. Um, Now it's just something that I know. And
Yeah.
I don't doubt it anymore. And it has opened up a whole other world of beliefs for me. Like, because I'm worthy of existing, I'm worthy of love, I'm worthy of happiness. And in Hawaii, I had this incredible moment where I'll probably get emotional, where I realized like I've done so much my whole life to try and be good enough for so many other people. But really, whatever I choose to do from here is still gonna impact and create opportunities for other people because I'm just going to show up as who I am and who I was born to be, who I was meant to be. And I found that truth in the turtle, right? The turtle swam 700 miles to rest on the shore, and all these people are just swarming around the turtle to take the picture. And all I could be was like, that's an incredible turtle. Wow. Wow, maybe I just need to be a turtle myself. Just need to be me. And okay. And I definitely could never have come to that conclusion without knowing and anchoring in, yeah, I'm worthy because I exist. So
Absolutely.
there's that massive ripple effect where one thing changes everything.
Yeah. And just the knowing that you always were, even through all of the things that you experienced. Like,
Yeah. And then, what that also has me presuppose is like, if I'm worthy of existing, clearly, obviously, so is everybody else.
yes, yes, I love that. And now that you have anchored that in and you just have the freedom to show up and to be you and to, I mean, speak about your experiences with, I mean, who knows who might see this. How how does it feel to just be able to show up and speak your truth?
It's honestly, it's honestly very freeing. And it's also I'm just very grateful, right? Like I'm very grateful that I didn't choose another option. Um, because in those moments where I had no clue if I was worthy at that time, right? I never could have made it to where some of the other experiences I had, right? Like that experience in Hawaii. If I would have taken my life, I closed the door for the opportunities that I never thought were going to be possible. And so that moment in Hawaii, I did take 100% that thing. Like it was already off the table, but it was like it was on the ground and I could pick it up and put it back on the table if I wanted. And that's when I burned it as an option.
Mm,
It's not even available to me
yeah,
as an option. And so now to be able to speak that and share it, it's it's like I have a totally different I am lit up and the fire comes from it is possible. And I want other people to have the opportunity to choose to live for yourself because living for others, not sustainable.
yeah. And also living to meet the expectations of other people,
Not sustainable.
constructs. That's a lot to hold. And
Yeah.
that started when you were small, just, a little kid.
Yeah. I
That,
honestly can't even tell you like when the concept started. Can't remember a moment. So I know that it was just kind of like the agreement that I was born into, right? We're all kind of born into agreements, whether we agree to those things or not.
yeah. And
So yeah,
and so now
it's
that you've anchored in the self-worth and you have that freedom to just be and do and just be you, how do you navigate the days where like, you're showing up, you're doing massive things with your business? I remember one of our calls that we were on with Dan and Renee. You had mentioned, or maybe they had mentioned, celebrating like a $50,000 month in your business and just doing all of these things. And you were speaking in this group of, I don't know how many women, maybe men, I think they're mostly women, but just sharing your experience and showing up and being that mentor and anchor for other people. How do you navigate the days where you feel that, those old patterns maybe popping up of just the little glimpses of something that maybe triggers the feeling of unworthiness or not enoughness or doubt? How do you
yeah.
navigate?
Yeah, so I would say um I really learned that those other feelings are more like access points. So I don't really go down a rabbit hole that takes me to the same conclusion, right? Because I burned that conclusion. It's not actually the conclusion. Because I used to jump from like, I'm not worthy, so it's better I should die. Like it used to be that quick, that fast. That was always the access point. But I removed those access points. I really got clear why were those access points there. And so now when I have the feelings of doubt, the access point means more of I need to slow down. Something's not aligned. What do I actually need right now? And what do I want right now? Because all of that is more like indicators that I'm not listening to myself. I'm not taking care of something that I need.
Mm-hmm.
And it's slower. And I'll get faster at it as I keep going. But I'm just a baby, 4 years in, right? I say that to myself because the reason why the access point was that fast is because I had the circuitry for that for 30 years. So what's the access point now? And I'm getting better and better and better at distinguishing my emotions. Is it doubt? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it stress? Is it me still trying to make someone else happy? And I don't feel like that was going to work. Um, and so it's a lot more nuanced now and it takes more time, but that's where I really make the time every day to ask myself questions, get clarification on the questions, and be okay that I don't have all the answers right this second. And it goes back even to the same principle that I brought up at the beginning. Okay, the weather's going to change tomorrow. I'm going to do the very best I can right now in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's all anyone can do, anyways. Is this my best in this moment? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, great. Let's pour on some compassion. If the answer is no, pour on some compassion first and then get to work on whatever it is I need to do. And when I say get to work, that also might mean being like, I need to cancel this meeting and I need to go and meditate for an hour, or I need to cancel this meeting and I need to ask Caitlin to shift her schedule or cancel if she's got another meeting to cancel so that I can go and spend some time with her to connect with her and really reconnect back in. So Caitlin's still an anchor for me.
Yeah,
She's
I love
still
that.
the second reason why I'm alive, but I'm now the number one reason why I'm alive. And we still support each other and we still show up for each other big time, but we're not responsible for each other's
Mm-hmm.
lives.
Yeah,
We are
powerful.
supportive of each other's well-being in massive ways because we love each other and we want to show up, right? So it's more nuanced, but I also think it's a lot more fun because I never know what I'm gonna need or want or try. And I would say like the yesterday was kind of one of those days a little bit. And I was like, we are both pretty tired. We're going into the holiday season. A lot is going on in our lives. And I was like, I just don't know what I want to do right now. I know I want to connect with you, but I don't really feel like watching a Christmas movie. I don't really feel like watching a TV show. I'm too tired to go on a walk. I don't, we're not eating a lot of sugar right now. So we're not going to go get drinks at something. So I don't know what we do. I just know that I love you and I want to be with you. So we did decide watching a Christmas movie while we sat on the couch. And then we got in bed early. And then we just sat there and talked while we laid in bed for like an hour and a half. And is exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
And the permission to discover and get in the weeds in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, slowing
yeah,
down, taking the time to even slow down and tune in.
yeah. Because normally we would just like, oh, let's just burn till 10:30, get in bed, go to sleep. And so, we still talk, but we haven't talked like that for a couple years, probably.
Wow.
It was just what I needed. So permission to get clarity on what I need. And I'm sure you can relate, right? Like
Yeah.
takes practice to
Well,
learn
and
how to.
I feel like sometimes when I drop in, I do a lot of, just tuning into my body. And sometimes I'm like, oh, well, I actually have only had coffee and it's like 2 o'clock. No wonder why I have all this weird energy going. So maybe I should have some food. Yeah, water. Water would be great. just those moments where it's a basic self-care. And here, if you allow the thoughts to spiral and not take the time to tune in and feel what your body actually needs, yeah, you could go some really weird places with that. So there's another, I guess, question or conversation topic that I want to touch on before we close. I don't know how long we've been on, but we're getting close to an hour. So, we've both been in the world of personal development, coaching, mindset work. We've both done so many different containers and programs and worked with different mentors and things like that. When it comes to manifestation or the talk of, manifesting your dream life or your business or all the things that you want, given your experience, what do you believe about manifestation and how is it different than what's traditionally taught?
Yeah, just the status quo. Um, I would say there's a few things. So the first thing really is that I believe that manifestation is a experience. It's not just a one and done thing. It can be if that's what you want to experience. That's the first thing. The second thing is that I believe I'm going to put it in like a math formula. Get clear on what you want, feel the feeling of having what you want before you have it, and then take aligned actions like it's already done. That to me is the formula for manifestation because yes, I can call something in with the field with the feeling, but if I don't actually become or embody that feeling or who it is that receives that thing, because if I'm someone who does receive that thing, then I'm going to take the actions that open the opportunity for that to be received. For example, um, manifesting a 50K month. It wasn't just me just sitting here. It was listening to going and having the conversations and building the relationships with the people that I needed to build relationships with. And it was just me showing up and doing the micro things and knowing, yes, I can serve, I can help those people. But if I didn't know that, if I didn't feel like I could help them or I wasn't confident in it, it never would have come into fruition, in my opinion. I don't
And
know
if
if that
you,
that all connects.
yes, it definitely does. If you hadn't anchored in that I'm worthy because I exist,
Yeah, never would have had that opportunity to show up in that way.
right? So
How
there,
could I how can I even like receive big amounts of money for myself if I didn't believe that my existence, which was fundamentally
Mhm.
not solid. And now I still have to work on worthiness stuff because sometimes the question comes more like, well, who am I to do blah, blah, blah? We kind of talked about that a little bit before this call. Who am I to be the one that is the mouthpiece for the experiences that we're talking about? Or who am I to, serve a client or work with these higher organizations? And who am I to receive that much money? And what I know and what I'm really am starting to come to is who am I not?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
okay, then what was all of that for?
yeah.
It
And
wasn't for me to keep it quiet and never say anything about it, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's quite the opposite.
yeah, and just giving yourself permission to anchor in beliefs about money.
Yeah. And like that it's a little bit uncomfortable to expand, but like I'm highly capable and the relationship between capable and capacity is 100% connected and related. And when you look at money and mindset and manifestation, it's really what's the capacity? So that means elevating who you're being to expand your capacity and expand your capabilities and what's possible.
Yeah.
If I'm committed to that, and that means being okay, being really uncomfortable, that's being okay that I can ask. And definitely, you definitely still have to put it into the field. You definitely still have to ask.
Yeah.
You definitely want to show up for that part. But you also can't receive if you don't open your hand and you don't be who you need to be to have your hands open to receive.
Yeah. I love that. I
Yeah,
just
what
felt
about for
like
you? I want to hear like how do you see manifestation that may not be the status quo?
I feel like I definitely align with all that you said. And what I do see in the personal development world, the coaching world, is that there's a part, maybe a precursor to the manifestation. And that's why I was asking about the worthy anchor, where if we're showing up and we're in a place of not moving and clearing and getting, moving through the hard and all the things that we're still holding, and we're still holding these deep-seated beliefs that we're not worthy, or whatever those beliefs might be. And then simultaneously we're trying to manifest. There's that gap between, who we are, what we're experiencing, and what we desire. And so being aware of that and following those, nudges to whatever it might be. And you had talked a lot about the people who could be in some really rough places in life, hard spots. Like, what do I need now so that I can truly anchor in that worthiness, so that I can move this trauma and stored and, whatever it is that I'm holding. And then I feel like I can get to this place where I can actually be ready to receive, ready to hold, and ready to take that aligned action. So I think that just, feel the positive thoughts, and, be visualize all that you desire, and, those things get in the vortex and all of those things. Like, those are great. And if you're holding a lifetime of stuff,
Yeah.
things might look a little different.
Yeah. I think also on the flip side, and it's not to play devil's advocate, but it's something to also to consider, right? Is really that sometimes um, just visualize can put you also right back into that place of like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve this. I'm unworthy. If that is happening, you have a deeper belief about your worthiness. So that's a first indicator. Great. If you're doing what you think is manifesting and it's not quite working, and you're coming back to whatever thing you're hitting, that's the conclusion. That's what's there for you to shift. That's what's there for you to clean up. And then if you also get to a point, and that's like from the entry side, on the back end side, if you're like, oh my gosh, like, no, I know I deserve this. I'm doing everything I can. Um, yeah, how else can I be better? What else do I need to clean up? Yeah, I know I'm worthy and it's just not here yet. Asking and going back to asking this isn't going to bridge the gap between the end. And what I see with a lot of people who get obsessed with the gap of like, I ask and I'm not getting it. There's some really interesting conversations in the coaching space, like be more responsible. Clearly, you don't actually want it. Um, this isn't, you're not really aligned with it. You're not doing what you need to do. I've heard people say, and then that creates trauma, and then we go back into old cycles and all that
Mhm.
weird stuff. What I would
Yeah.
say when I have this experience where I've asked and I have not received it yet, yes, I do have to look, where is my hand closed and what do I need to do to open it? And those are actually the ways that I ask myself the question, because most of the other kinds of questions or approaches to that conversation Can't kick me back into my trauma. I can take over responsibility, take all the blame. Wait a second, can you manifest in the feeling of blame? Not that well. That's not creation, that's survival. So, really looking like, yeah, why is my hand closed? What do I need to open it? And most of the time, it comes down to my beliefs around, do I have the capacity to hold and receive what I'm asking for? Yes or no? Really simple. It's not about, then I'm not like, okay, I need to go back and re-heal from the church stuff. Cool, sure, maybe I do, but I also believe that like I'm not broken. I'm
Yeah,
whole.
I
I'm
love that.
complete. We're whole and we're complete. We don't need to fix ourselves. There's
Yeah,
things that happened that don't work. So it comes more down to my relationship with myself and my relationship with the universe. Hey, are you going to show up for me? Show me the way. I can't see the way yet. There's this gap. And there's a really great book called The Gap and the Gain
no,
that
I haven't heard
I,
of that.
yeah, I love this book and it
Yeah,
teaches you how to shift your perspective on, I would say they don't really use the word manifesting, but for sure it is about how to experience that gratitude and that feeling when you don't have what you want yet.
interesting. Well, and the last thing that I feel that is so helpful no matter what is just what you mentioned, gratitude. No matter where we are in life, there's always something. There's something that we can be grateful for. And for me, that's helped just shift my energy, bring me back to the present moment, help me realize that I actually do have everything that I have everything I need. I'm happy. Everything really is great. And of course, there's more, and I'm worthy of it.
Yeah. Also, like, how cool is it that you get to work out how to get what you want? Because we like a challenge, we like an opportunity, we like to play games. Now, whether you play games poorly or weirdly or nastily or it's fun, that you get to choose that, right? Um, and it really is so cool because once you do get to a more place like, oh yeah, there is nothing wrong with me. If you can know that that's the truth and whatever the opposite belief is, right? Because there's nothing wrong with me still kind of leaves you with wrong with me. So what's the opposite? For me, that's I'm worthy because I exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
Always
course I do.
was, always will be.
Yeah, done. Great. What's next?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's a fun that's fun for me. There's challenges. Yes. Do I get sad and have feelings and emotions? Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
But also it's not like, and do I subconsciously sometimes recreate pain? Like I think it's going to motivate me? Sure. That's a whole other conversation we could have someday about how, but if we can take the experiences we have and then we know how to turn that into something beautiful, that's actually also what manifesting is. Taking something, that's alchemy, right? Taking something and turning it into something valuable.
Right. And knowing that all of our experiences, however we perceive them in this moment, like we are here having this conversation now as the women that we are today because of all of it.
Yeah,
And although a lot of it felt painful, it's like how amazing is it to just be in this space now
right?
and to
Well,
be
and
able to meet amazing humans and
right? Here's
have
my question. Would
conversation.
you actually change anything from your past, knowing where you are now?
No.
Same. I would not.
Mm-mm. No,
I would
because
not.
one little change, one deletion, it would have thrown off the entire trajectory, and there's no way we would be here.
Yep. And to have that kind of gratitude, you have to see the other side of what it brought to you. because it really is a gift. The pain I experienced is a gift.
Yeah.
And it's also a big gift that I don't have to keep experiencing that pain. And you don't. You
No,
don't have to stay stuck in the pain.
no. Well, Anna, I think I am going to go ahead and stop recording. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to drop the information in the show notes where people can connect with you if they, want to, if they have any questions or if they just want to reach out. So thank you. And yeah, until next time, we might have another conversation on here, but I appreciate it. You're such a light. And
Thank you. So are you.